Okay, everybody, this is the next have-to in the 5 have-tos to heal heart disease. Today is about stress, and the topic is called Stress is a Killer, Kill It Before It Kills You. And we all know that stress is a bad deal. In fact, I just read a study that said that 90% of all hospital visits can be traced back to stress. And so on one hand, stress is a really good thing. Stress is what causes us to get out of bed in the morning and go to the gym and get good grades and excel in our job and be a good husband or father or mother, whatever the case is, because we have this natural, healthy amount of stress that prompts us to want to be better. That type of stress is good. Another type of good stress is like heat of the moment, fight or flight. You're getting chased by a bear in the woods. Your body should be under stress. In fact, if you're not stressed out by that situation, there's something majorly wrong with you. But think about this. When your body's stressed, what happens physiologically? And this is important to understand. Well, what happens is, number one, your blood pressure goes up. Again, think about bear chasing you in the woods, okay? So your blood pressure goes up. Obviously, you want more blood readily available to all the tissues of your body. Digestion goes down because you don't need to be focused on digesting your breakfast. If a bear's chasing you, you just need to live. Long-term immunity or immune system function goes down because, again, your body's not worried about contracting measles or mumps or the chicken pox again. It's worried about being able to heal a wound when the bear bites your arm off. So short-term immunity goes up, long-term immunity goes down. Well, that sounds like, oh, that's no big deal. But when short-term immunity goes up, your body releases a lot of clotting factors into your blood. Well, what are clotting factors? Basically cholesterol, right? That's interesting because most of the time when you go to the doctor and they say you have high cholesterol, they say it's just the way it is. It's normal, it's genetic, and so all we can do for you is give you a what? Give you a pill that lowers your cholesterol, right? But here's why that's insane. That'd be like saying you're getting chased by a bear in the woods, your body's producing more cholesterol so that you can heal from a life-threatening wound if that happens, but we're gonna give you a medication to artificially lower that cholesterol so that you feel better and so that you don't have a heart attack or a stroke. Meanwhile, your body's going, but what if the bear bites my arm off? The stimulus is still there. The environment that's causing the stress in your body is still there. And that's why taking medications only is always a bad idea, no matter what it's for. Now, I'm not against taking medications, but medications were never designed, listen, never designed to heal you. There's never been one medication on the planet that's ever healed a disease. Why? Because the cause of your disease is never a lack of medication to begin with. Right? There's always an underlying cause. And I'm not saying that you should never take medications. I'm not saying that a medication couldn't save your life in a crisis. They absolutely can and do. But the point is that you can't just take a medication and expect to live a long, healthy, happy life. You've got to address the cause, the stimulus, the environment that's creating the body's desire to manifest these symptoms, to try to reach or re-reach equilibrium, right? And that's really what your body's trying to do, right? And so again, what happens when you're under stress? Clotting factors go up, cholesterol goes up, blood pressure goes up, digestion goes down, long-term immunity goes down, long-term memory goes down because again, you don't need to remember, what your second cousin's daughter's name is. You need to remember where you parked your car or where that tree was that you passed on the way into the woods so you can climb up it and escape. Short-term memory becomes sharp, but long-term memory starts to decline, right? So think about this. How many of you struggle with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor digestion, constipation, diarrhea, gassiness, bloatedness, IBS, immune system dysfunction, right? Like autoimmune conditions, or you get sick all the time, or even just fatigue, right? Because if your body's constantly in a state of stress, your body, again, you can run from the bear in the woods for like a few minutes, but after a few minutes, you either got away or you became lunch. Your body's only designed to handle that stress for a short time, right? And you might say, well, Dr. Ryan, that's extreme. I've only been chased by a bear in the woods a few times. I'm kidding. But here's the thing. Most of us never experience something that stressful, but we are under a constant state of mild stress all the time. So even though your heart rate might not shoot up to 180 and you're just pumping all day long, it might shoot up to 140, right? Or 150 because you're stressed out. And then your blood pressure goes up and cholesterol, digestion goes down, all these different things. And so the point is, you've got to kill stress. You got to identify why you're stressed out. you know, and if you live in America, you're going to be stressed out at some point or another, and it's probably going to be consistent. It's probably going to be something you have to die to daily or be intentional with daily, because that's just our culture. You know, we live in a comparative culture. If you spend any time on Facebook or in emails or Pinterest or Instagram, you know, it's almost detrimental, because it's really easy to compare your life to everyone else's highlight reel, you know? And then you think, if you don't have perfect kids or the perfect house, or if it's not clean all the time, or if you're not a master at all these do-it-yourself projects that you see on Pinterest, you know, then you're a failure. But the reality is, you know, people only post their highlight reels. They don't post the behind the scenes, right? And so you end up comparing yourself, and it becomes very stressful. It's very easy to develop anxiety. In fact, studies show that 6 out of 10 Americans struggle with depression. And 3 out of those 6 are clinically depressed, meaning that they have to take a psychotropic antidepressant medication just to cope with their symptoms, right? And that's a whole nother topic that we'll get into on a different video. But the point is, you've got to get stress out of your life. And so I'll tell you just a few ways that I've been able to kill stress in my life. And I'm not perfect. I'm a student of this. I've stolen these things from people way smarter than me, coaches, mentors, leaders, and I've adopted them into my own way of life, and they've been really, really helpful. So number one, every single morning, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or Wednesday, every single morning of my life looks the same. Not exactly the same time, because I do sleep in now and again. I'm not crazy. But every single morning I get up, first thing I do is I make my coffee or tea, whatever I'm having that morning, and then I read something spiritual, you know, something that feeds my mind, it feeds my spirit, it lifts me up, gives me hope and encouragement. You know, for me, it's the Bible, and I'm either reading something like a devotional or something that somebody else has written, or a lot of times I'm just reading the plain old Bible, right? I mix it up every now and again with different versions so I don't get bored, but the point is I read something that fills up my spirit. And then I spend about 10 or 15 minutes meditating on that or praying. You know, God, what does that mean for my life? How do I see that actually manifesting through me today? You know, not 30 years from now, but today. Realistically, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to see my kids, you know, as they wake up and run down the stairs. I'm going to see my wife. I'm going to interact with people. How can I see that concept or principle manifest in my life? And then I visualize, right? Just like an athlete, just like a golfer who sits there and visualizes himself making the putt or hitting that shot. You know, if you're a basketball player, you visualize yourself making that game-winning free throw. You've got to see it in your mind's eye before it actually manifests in your life. We know that the greatest achievers in life are visionaries, you know. They're able to see what they want before it actually manifests in real life. And the reason why is you get what you focus on. If you're constantly focused on good things and the things you want to see happen in your life, typically those things will manifest and they'll come to fruition. Versus if you're always focused on fear or lack or the things you don't have or why you're a victim, typically you're going to go see those things grow and multiply, right? So every morning it's as easy as just spending 5 or 10 minutes just closing your eyes, getting in a quiet place. You know, typically I fill myself up with something encouraging and uplifting first, and then I meditate and visualize. But either way, and just be intentional with what you want your day to look like, right? And then I personally go work out, because that's the number one easiest thing that you can do is just go work out. We already talked about workout, how working out's great to reduce your risk of heart disease, but working out also is the number one stress killer, right? Number one stress buster. If you're feeling stressed, angry, agitated, anxious, number one best thing you can go do, go work out. Even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes. Do high intensity interval training, just bang out some quick push-ups or body squats or jumping jacks or running in place. Get your heart rate up, breathe, and your body will start to release endorphins and hormones that'll calm you down, right? After you get your breath, calm you down, reduce cortisol, which is your body's stress hormone. It'll open up capillaries and blood vessels. Why is that important? Because one of the reasons why you have high blood pressure or cholesterol or heart disease is because your heart's having a tough time pumping blood through your body, because all the blood vessels and arteries are super constricted and tight, right? And a lot of that's caused from cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So the moral of the story is you got to kill stress, right? Just spend a few minutes a day being intentional with your time. Fill yourself up with something spiritual or enlightening. Meditate or just think about it. You know, writing it down is a great thing. Something I do every day is I write down my 3 goals for the day. And basically the way I look at it is if I could accomplish these 3 things today, then I can go to sleep tonight feeling like a winner, right? And it's not always these big, hairy, audacious goals. You know, sometimes it's just come home at lunch and tell my wife I love her and give her a big hug. And maybe Maybe for me, that's because I work a lot and I'm super busy and I'm easily distracted. So maybe that's my win for the day. Or maybe my win is to be more focused at work, be intentional with adding value to those around me. Maybe my win today is just to exercise or check my finances because I'm not a good steward of that, or whatever the case is. You decide, but if you take control of your life in these little ways, then I promise stress levels will go down, your heart will work more efficiently, capillaries and blood vessels will open up, and you'll see these things manifest in your life. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Last video coming up right after this. You're not going to want to miss it. It's the most powerful one of all, and I'm going to keep it a secret. You got to stay tuned.